Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap, and this week I'm making another commissioned soap and I'm cutting them to sample size. It's a fragrance that I didn't pick, and out of the bottle I thought, this is a little perfumey for me. It's called Dreamcatcher from Rustic Essentials, and I opened up the bottle and I thought, oh my gosh, this is really perfumey. But, you know, sometimes you gotta trust that after it goes through saponification, it does soften the scent a bit. And this is what happened with this one. Now I'm going up to the soap and smelling it all the time. So I think you'd really like it, and some of your customers will really like this one too. So anyway, I colored this one differently because the scent was different to me. It kind of goes through my sensory, something goes through my senses and kind of figures out what it's going to look like visually. There, I said it. So anyway, I'm going to show you a picture of what it looks like. I colored it differently than I usually do because I think, again, that scents really kind of affect me that way. I'll smell something, and so the visual of this will come out differently too. So a little quick color tutorial, and then we'll get on with the making of the soap. And I've also been busy kind of just playing around with my logo, so I kind of played around with that a little bit, and let me know how you like this. I kind of thought that a lot of companies abbreviate their logos after a while too, and just to kind of refresh everything, and I'm kind of happy with this one, but interested to see what you think about it. Anyway, let's get started with the video. Okay, so let's get started with this color tutorial. Thought I'd show you the mixing that I do on my palette to prepare for what my soap will look like. So I just took a little yellow and decided that I'm not going to use any titanium dioxide for this, but you see me tapping into this white color, and that's because I do need to play around with these watercolors to get it to the way I want it to look in the soap. Natural soap color is yellow, light yellow to white, so I am simulating that so that when I mix my yellow mica with the soap, it's going to lighten it a bit. So I think that's going to be it. I just really want a faint yellow. That's going to be my base. I'm really loving this cornflower celebration mica from Rustic Essentials because it's such a it's a blue, but it's such a grayish blue. It just works in the place of a blue that wouldn't work, if that makes any sense. So I need to put a little black in there just to make that gray in there. When we mix a color with gray, which in fact is what I'm doing, we call that a tone. And I think that needs just a little bit more black. If you're doing these with your watercolors, what I do before I turn on the camera is I put a little dot of water on my palettes to start to get the paint diluted a little. So that's about the color of the cornflower celebration. It's a really nice color. I think what I'll do is I'll go back and add some more pigment. Just, it's kind of watery, so that you can see how intense I can make it. Okay, so there's the first two colors. This one only has 3 colors, and I do need to soften that orange too. You see, if I use that orange right there, that's just going to get all the attention because of its intensity. So I want to soften that as well to bring it down to the intensity of the blue and the yellow. I think I've over whitened it, so I think that's about right. So you can get away with a lot when the colors are softened like that. And I'll just kind of show you that completely different feel. You can do this for some scents because they're kind of strong, but I'll just show you what it would look like if I just used bright, pure colors. Nothing wrong with that. You see me use them all the time, but for this one, I didn't want them as strong. You can see how they could almost clash in their pure form. But the consistency between these are that there's some white in all of them. So let's see how they look in the soap. Also, the other thing that's important is how much you use in the soap, which one is going to be your base. And I thought that this Dream Color fragrance, yellow, came to mind right away. So I'm going to use that as my base and use these two a little more sparingly as a double accent. And let's see what that looks like in the soap. Let's get going. So before we start the actual soap, I thought I'd show you the micas. And this is the mica that I use for the orange. This is called Clementine Pop Mica. Rustic Essentials. And I'll show you this favorite of mine, the Cornflower Celebration Mica. It's like a gray blue. The other thing I like about these micas is that, you know, what you see is what you get. Sometimes micas change on you. And this is the, what do we call this? This is Color Joy Mica, basic yellow. Nice bright yellow. And I find that a lot of yellow micas fade, so I tend to need a bit more of this mica to get the bright yellow that I want. Okay, so let's now get to the soap making. Okay, I've just blended up a double recipe. See if I can pour this without making a mess. Somewhat. And I'm going to color the main batch with this yellow. That's a nice bright yellow. That's basic yellow from Rustic Essentials. Let's go to this orange. This is Clementine Pop Mica from Rustic Essentials. And one of my favorite new colors that I told you about, this is Cornflower Celebration, also from Rustic Essentials. Such a nice gray blue. So I'm using this fragrance called Dreamcatcher from Rustic Essentials, kind of perfumy like. I want to keep in mind the idea of a dreamcatcher, which looks basically like a web that catches your dreams. So I want it to be a pretty intricate but fairly easy swirl to do. So what I'm going to do is an in the pot swirl and try to make it a little tighter, a little bit more complex looking. So let's get this poured in 3 places. Save a little for the top. And I'm going to pour the blue right into those same places. Now this would be a loose swirl as it is. I'm going to keep some in there, but to tighten it up, I'm going to give it some deep stirs. You can see what that looks like on the top. Looks beautiful. And then as it pours into the mold, it's also going to swirl. So it's getting basically 3 tries at swirling. And what I'm going to do is pour half in at first to the 2 molds. And that way, both molds will get some color. About half of that mold. Okay, where you can see. And go back with the rest of it here. I think I did it pretty evenly. Look at the color in that bowl. So there's pretty much an even amount in both molds. Let me drizzle on the rest of the mica. Actually, yeah, I'm going to start with this cornflower celebration. And I'm glad this is staying really nice and liquid for me because I want to do a intricate swirl on the top. The namesake of this is again Dreamcatcher, so I want the top to be a nice Dreamcatcher. Okay, let's get in there and make a nice design on the top. Start with the diagonals. And the opposite way. So orange and blue are complementary colors and they contrast the best because they are opposites. So I'm glad that I have this cornflower celebration mica because it's blue without being so blue that I have a big giant contrast. It's just enough for the soap, I think. And there's that. So I hope you liked that. And let's see what these look like all cut up. Okay, so let's cut Dreamcatcher. And I'm not going to cut all these soaps for you right now. It is a sample soap. So I want it to be, oh, I like that. It is a sampler soap, so I'm cutting them very thin. So that would be a bunch of cuts. I'm just going to give you an idea of what this looks like. And that's basically what I wanted, to have that design, pretty tight swirls. Sort of maze-like to represent catching a dream. Because dreams are very fluid, you have to be tricky in catching them. So this is an example of a soap that's been swirled pretty much 3 times. It was an in the pot swirl, and then I swirled it in the pot before the pearl, in the pot before the swirl, and then as I poured it in the mold, it swirled again. So I knew that it was going to give you these tight swirls. And they're all looking pretty much the same. So I'll just cut a few more of these and say goodbye to you for right now. I am prepared to speak at the 2018 Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetics Guild Conference in Atlanta. And I'll put a link to that at the end. And I'm excited about that because I did present at 2 other conferences, and I really do enjoy meeting people who've been commenting on the videos for years, and just lots of neat people interested in the same thing, soap making. And my talk will be on color. So I've got to get my presentation all ready for that. And I'm also writing my second article on designing soap for Soap Making Magazine. I'll let you know more about that when it is closer to the date. And I'll stop right here and say thank you for subscribing. And all the comments I got on that Monet soap was amazing. And I'm planning another artist soap coming up really shortly. And stay tuned for that too. That won't be for a while, but we'll be doing some other soap soon. Working on a big order now, so hopefully I can keep up the video making at the same time. And we'll see you all real soon though, hopefully. And we'll say goodbye to you now. Thanks everybody. It goes